So anyway, the UN's warning him, take it slow, or people might not like it. How about we don't do it at all? Okay? That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us not do it at all. But no, these guys are really going to try to, quote-unquote, cut carbon emissions to save the world, and that means a carbon tax for you and I. I was trying to pull up this one article, but Tennessee State lures firms with carbon tax credit. This is March 1st. Tennessee's unusual commitment to cover the cost of any future carbon tax. See? They're getting ready. The infrastructure is here. The laws have not yet been passed, but they're gearing up for it. Let me read it again. Tennessee's unusual commitment to cover the cost of any future carbon tax. Any future carbon tax. A state doesn't prepare for a carbon tax, or any kind of tax for that matter, unless it is real. It's real. It's not make-believe. You know, it's not Snuffleupagus on the Sesame Street. It's the real deal. They're really going to do this. That make major investments is being credited for luring 2 big solar energy developments worth more than $2 billion. And you know, if they were really developing solar energy for you and me, in other words, giving us energy for less of a price with less pollution, that's great. Okay? Solar energy is a clean energy. It's a good one. I'm down. I'm down like a clown, Charlie Brown. You know, wind energy too. They're great. But if you actually think that that's what this is for, you are out of your mind. I mean, here it is right here. The proposal would begin auctioning off carbon pollution permits in 2012. Because get ready, this is going to be a big 2011 election issue. That's what this is about. All right. You know what? I'm going to put down some of the news, and I'm going to jump to some callers. We got Charles in New Jersey who wants to talk about the Watchmen movies. Charles, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, Jay. I went to the movies twice this weekend. I saw The Internationalist on Friday, and then I saw Watchmen on Saturday. But while I was watching The Internationalist, the guy, Clive Owen, he's supposed to be some big bad, you know, Interpol cop trying to shut down the global
he's a
bank.
spy who's on the good side. He's a good guy, right?
Yeah, and he's trying to shut down a bank in Luxembourg.
Mm-hmm.
But he ends up, you know, there's one scene, he ends up in Midtown Manhattan, and he's running through Midtown. And I kid you not, within about 10 seconds, you see 3 or 4 subliminal advertisements for Chase Bank. So right there, I know that who's behind the movie. You know, so. Well,
I heard it's very consolidated. It doesn't talk about like a global banking scheme. It's only one bank that's bad, and you know, their power is great, but it's not that great. It's not this international cartel. It's just, you know, this one bank.
Yeah, you know, I thought when I was going to see that it would be like that, but what it really was just Chase Bank trying to like throw some subliminal advertising inside the movie.
So what about the Watchmen film? What was your take on that?
Well, I'm born in '88, so it took place in the late '70s.
Well, I think it was actually in '85. Actually, it's in. I believe it's in 1985, and Nixon is still president. He didn't get ousted. And I mean, we got the comic book right here. I'm somewhat familiar with it. It's been like I used to read comic books as a kid, and they used to always just like the Watchmen was just like, you know, I guess a comic book for comic book creators. People were into it. And Alan Moore is obviously a talented guy. He's brought us V for Vendetta. He researched John Constantine, who got his own film. I forget what I think they actually called it Constantine. But he's been a big producer for Hollywood now because they love his material. But this, you know, from what I'm seeing and what I know that the heroes aren't heroes at all, and that they're the bad guys in this. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the film with Charles. We're going to take your calls. Blitz through news. It's the Info Warrior with Jason Bermas. PrisonPlanet.tv. Infowars.com.
Different.
All right, folks, we are back. It's the Info Warrior with Jason Bermas, and we're talking to Charles in New Jersey about the Watchmen film. You know, Alex has been very critical of it. I have not seen it yet. What did you take away from it, Charles?
Well, I had an interest in it because it was the same producer that made, like, I think, something to do with, you know, 300 and
Zack Snyder.
And
Zack Snyder he was actually the director of 300, and he directed this as well.
and I liked the special effects. And what I took away from it was that somebody paid him a lot of money to try to do the same thing with this, and it wasn't very interesting. The action scenes weren't very good, and they had a lot of screenshots. It took place mostly in New York, and had a lot of screenshots of the Twin Towers. It wasn't very entertaining. Something I found interesting while I was at the theater was that they were offering free movie ticket to donate blood. They had a big they had a big truck there. Yeah, donate blood. And I think something that the New World Order wants to do is get all the clean blood they can.
Well, I think that they just want a database, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, they love the databases. I mean, we can pull up the DNA databases. We can pull up the databases for protesters. We can pull up the blood databases. These are all, I mean, I think it was in Australia, they just ruled that they're allowed to keep anybody's DNA they want. It's just tough luck, I mean, who knows why they want it, but they just love to collect everything. But that's a good way to trick you into it. Free movie tickets for your blood. I thank you for the call, Charles. Before we jump to the next caller, since we're talking about comic books, people may be aware that a little over a year ago, I think it was, Marvel decided that they were going to team up with the United Nations to project a more global image. Okay? So now they're taking it one step further, and Marvel Eyes Global Growth bets on India and China. Okay, so you want to promote the United Nations, you want to promote global government, you want to promote this idea, you have to do so outside of America. And although Marvel is worldwide, as you can read in the article, I mean, Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, the last couple movies they did, in their own studio that they built to get away from the Hollywood system, they were big overseas, really big. So now they're thinking that the next business move is to go after those markets, China and India being the biggest ones. And you can believe, I mean, first of all, folks, China and the United States have come towards each other so much in the last 20 years, 30 years. I remember when I was in 9th grade global studies class, and it was a big deal that people in China were rocking Levi jeans. It's like, oh my God, we've got the Coca-Cola and the jeans. Well, now they got the McDonald's there. They're very westernized. The only thing that's different is that their military are the police. They have one-child policies. They still have 6 slave labor over there, and they're tolerant about it. Oh, yeah, and then they have troops on the street that act as their police. I mean, come on, give me a break. It's a police state there. But at the same time, we've walked towards them, too. Where they, like our styles, rock our iPhones, all that stuff, we go towards their domestic policy more and more. So, this is just the next step in propaganda. Marvel, I mean, I'm not much of a DC man. I mean, Batman, Superman, who can say no? It's good stuff, you know what I'm saying? But Marvel, oh man, Spider-Man was so much better. Iron Man, the X-Men, of course, was great. Wolverine, I used to read that all the time. Cable, I used to read that all the time. I was big into Marvel comics, and Marvel is really the creme de la creme of comic books. I mean, and it disturbs me that I have to see Barack Obama giving a fist bump over to Spidey. It kills me. It's absolutely awful. And that's there he is. There's Barack with the Superman. Yeah, Barack Obama. And he's being portrayed to the public as a superhole. I mean, as a superhero. It's unbelievable. Superhole. That's how I see him. Oh, all right. Let's jump to our next caller. Let's go to John in Hawaii. John, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Jason?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
I've been doing stuff over here for a long time. I moved over to Hawaii because I saw the manipulation of our agricultural system back in the early 70s, late 60s. Mm-hmm. And people out there have to realize how really sophisticated the global elite are. I mean, they're doing stuff 30, 40 years down the line. They know exactly what the responses are. And when we saw the systematic elimination of our agricultural system, we understand how really complicated it is to fix it. And
yeah, there's a bill out right now, and we're going to come back and talk about it, where they're trying to stop all organic farming. Again, they're trying to control what you can put into your body and how you can put it there. It's the Info Warrior with Jason Bermas. We'll be back after this. PrisonPlanet.tv. We are back. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, the InfoWarrior.com, folks. It's the new website. It's up there. I got a few Bobby Bloggins up there. And we're talking to John in Hawaii right now, and we're talking about how they really want to regulate what we can put in our body, what farmers can produce. And if you're not a big farm, they're trying to cut you out right now, not let you sell organic food. Codex Alimentarius is out there, but there's a new bill. I believe there's a story over at InfoWars.com as we speak, John. And how do we combat this?
Well, what it comes down to is people really don't understand how important it is for all of us to grow our own food in our own backyard, and I think that's what really the government's trying to go after us now. When Obama stands up and talks, and obviously and what he does, I mean, he's a great talker. I love his smile. They love him in Hawaii. I actually got kicked off. I had a little radio show over here. I got kicked off because I criticized Obama. People didn't want to hear about it. They think I was being negative.
Well, they think that they can relate to him because it's supposedly his home state.